day one of the World Test Championship.
That's gone. The slip horn goes up.
Well, there's been a big breakthrough in wrestlers versus government standoff. The sports minister and the wrestlers today held a meet for about 6 hours. The wrestlers have put their demand, there are 5 clear demands by the wrestlers, and they've decided to stave off their protest till the 15th of this month. All of this as the government has assured the probe and filing of the charge sheet by the Delhi police till the 15th of this month. The athletes are adamant on the arrest of WFI chief and BJP MP Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who has been accused of sexual harassment. The FIR against the athlete has also been withdrawn. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said that talks between both sides were successful and that women wrestlers will be given security according to their needs. Notably, a missing face from the talks today was Phogat. The wrestler in a cryptic tweet said that some aim only at the final destination.
जो गवर्नमेंट के साथ हमारी बात हुई है खेल मंत्री जी के साथ कि 15 तारीख तक 15 जून तक जो पुलिस की जो कानून का जो पुलिस की प्रक्रिया चल रही है वो पूरी करने की बोली है और उन्होंने बोला कि 15 तारीख तक आप कोई भी प्रोटेस्ट ना करें। तो हमने जो उन्होंने प्रपोजल कुछ बिंदुओं पे बात हुई कि खिलाड़ियों का सुरक्षा का ध्यान रखा जाएगा, महिला खिलाड़ियों का भी और पुरुष खिलाड़ियों का भी, और जितने भी केस खिलाड़ियों के ऊपर हुए हैं वो वापस लिए जाएंगे। तो वो चीजें सरकार ने मानी है और जो हमारे साथ बातचीत हुई है वो हम जो हमारे समर्थक हैं चौधरी है, जितने भी हमारे साथ संगठन जुड़े हैं, चाहे वो महिला संगठन है चाहे वो किसान संगठन है, हम सब के सामने वो प्रस्ताव रख देंगे। 1-2 दिन में हम उनकी सहमति उनसे बात करके उनको बता देंगे। तो सर आप लोग
लगभग 6 घंटे चली इस बैठक में जिन मुद्दों पर चर्चा हुई उसमें जो आरोप लगाए गए हैं उन आरोपों की जांच पूरी करके 15 जून तक चार्जशीट दायर की जाए और रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया का चुनाव 30 जून तक किया जाए। इंटरनल कंप्लेंट कमेटी रेसलिंग फेडरेशन की बनाई जाए और उसकी अध्यक्षता कोई महिला करे। निवर्तमान अध्यक्ष ब्रिज भूषण सिंह जिनकी 3 टर्म पूरी हुई है वो और उनसे संबंधित लोग उसमें चुनकर ना आए, इस तरह की उनकी मांग थी। जो महिला खिलाड़ियों को या बाकी खिलाड़ी आवश्यकता अनुसार सिक्योरिटी उनको मिले, जिन खिलाड़ियों के या अखाड़ों के या अकेडमीज के या कोचेस के खिलाफ मुकदमे हैं उन मुकदमों को वापस लेने की मांग की है ताकि उस पर कोई कानूनी या पुलिस की कार्रवाई ना की जा सके। और खिलाड़ियों ने कहा है कि वो चाहते हैं कि 15 जून तक चार्जशीट दायर हो और वो भी अपना कोई भी इस पर प्रदर्शन या उनसे जुड़े हुए कोई भी संगठन जो उनके समर्थक हैं वो भी कोई प्रदर्शन नहीं करेंगे और उन सबको भी इस बातचीत से अवगत कराएंगे।
All right, let's cut across to our reporters. Paulami Saha joining us live from the Sports Minister Anurag Thakur's residence. Nitin Srivastav getting us the latest in terms of what has been the take back where the wrestlers are concerned. First up, going across to Paulami. Paulami, it's been a while where the protest was on. It seemed there was a complete standoff. The Sports Minister this morning with a tweet invited them for talks. Now, what really has happened in the backdrop of it all? 5 demands have been put forth by the wrestlers, but give us the inside details. What made the Sports Minister tweet out inviting the wrestlers for a conversation? What went down behind the scenes?
Well, Preeti, this was something which was ongoing for a while now, and the government was looking to find a solution to it for a while because as far as the wrestlers are concerned, even though they were not sitting at Jantar Mantar and agitating anymore, they'd resumed duty as OSD Sports in the Railways Department as well, both Sakshi, Malik and Bajrang Punia. The agitation, they continued to say, was underway, was still ongoing. Cups were also lending their support as well. There were Mahapanchayats that were being held in support of the wrestlers as well. Keeping all of that in view, the government decided that this is the time to try and find a resolution and break the deadlock and bring the wrestlers back to the dialogue table. Remember, just a few days ago, the Union Home Minister had also met with the wrestlers as well. That conversation was inconclusive, but they wanted to take this forward. The government wanted to take it forward, and hence the Sports Minister yesterday last evening, invited the wrestlers to come forth again to the dialogue table, which they did today. That meeting lasted almost 6 hours, after which some key takeaways have been arrived upon unanimously by both sides. That is, of course, the Sports Minister and the wrestlers. Only Sakshi Malik, Bajrang Punia and Satyavrat Kadyan were present in this meeting. What they've decided is that a charge sheet will be filed in the cases that have been lodged against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh by the Delhi police by June 15. WFI elections will be held by June 30th. An internal complaints committee will be formed inside the WFI, which will be led by a woman. The elections, one of the demands that the wrestlers put forth was that there shouldn't be anyone who's associated with Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh who should contest the WFI elections, and that has been agreed upon by the government as well. So these are some of the key demands. Also, of course, the cases that were filed against the wrestlers when they tried to march towards the new Parliament building on May 28th, on the day of its opening and inauguration, those cases will be withdrawn as well. So some forward movement. The government has assured them that there will be a charge sheet which will be filed by June 15th, and they've decided that they won't be protesting or agitating until then.
You know, Polami, stay on with us. I just want to bring in Nitin Srivastav as well. He's been speaking to the wrestlers. He's been on the story ever since the protest broke out. Nitin, you know, you've been speaking to all the protesting wrestlers. Also interesting that Vinesh Phogat did not attend. Give us the backstory on that. But first up, Nitin, the 5 demands that the wrestlers have put. If all demands are met by the government, but their 5th and final demand, which is the arrest of Brij Bhushan Sharan, if that doesn't happen post the charge sheet, which now the government has promised that the Delhi police should file by the 15th of this month. But if the arrest doesn't happen, but 4 other demands are met, will the wrestlers be happy going home in terms of where the protest is concerned, or will they stick to all 5 demands?
Well, Preeti, after this long meeting which was happened with the sports minister today, wrestlers looks happy, I mean, as of now, because when they're leaving Anurag Thakur's residence, I spoke to them and they were pretty happy, saying that negotiations was on the table, and we are pretty sure that whatever government is saying, they will do it. So as of now, we are going back to the KHAP leaders, KHAP Panchayat, and whatever proposal have been given to us, we will discuss to the KHAP leaders, and then only we can say that what action will we take in terms of the future course of action. Remember, they have already maintained this, that any decision which we are going to take will be definitely with the consultation of KHAP. So but till 15th of June, there is no protest, and they will wait for the charge sheet which Delhi police will be filing in court. So after then only they will decide that what step they will take. But as of now, it looks that this agitation might be going to end very soon, because government is ready to do anything whatever the wrestlers are saying. Remember, the very first time when in January these wrestlers came to at Jantar Mantar, and for the very first time there was 2 rounds of meeting with Anurag Thakur on day 1 and day 2, and then after there was a committee formed by the government which was called Oversight Committee, and there was another separate committee which was formed by IOA. So as of now, again when they are back again on Jantar Mantar, there was a committee formed by IOA which is called ad hoc committee, which is actually taking care of WFI and also to conduct the elections. So that is why WFI had 45 days of time in hand, but they are running out of time. So that is why they have written to UWW to give us some more time to finalize our elections, and we will soon issue the notifications officially to conduct the election.
You know, appreciate you joining us, Nitin. One quick question from Polami before I let you go, Polami. You know, the sports minister came out, spoke to the media, said the talks were very, very positive with the wrestlers. We've heard that before, but this time around, was there any indication given by the wrestlers that if the other 4 demands are met, However, the fifth and their major demand has been the arrest of Brij Bhushan. If that doesn't happen, can there be a bit of give and take? Or do you think the wrestlers have made it very clear? What's the inside story on that?
Well, as far as the wrestlers are concerned, now, while the wrestlers side does say that they did press forth with that demand that there should be an arrest of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, it apparently wasn't said as many times or as forcefully over the 6 hours that they spent inside the Union Sports Minister's residence. And hence, of course, the wrestlers coming on board and agreeing to the fact that there is a timeline. The Delhi police has always been saying over the last couple of weeks that they are about to file a status report. They will be filing that charge sheet by the 15th of June. Now, a deadline has been set. A deadline has been given to them by the Union Sports Minister. So they're likely to wait it out. It remains to be seen that if, the charges that they've leveled against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, if those charges hold in the charge sheet that the Delhi police, in fact, files in this case, are they watered down? Do they find evidence for enough of those complaints and allegations that have been leveled by these wrestlers? Again, it will entirely depend on that charge sheet, which is eventually filed by Delhi police before the 15th of June. And on the basis of that, the wrestlers will, of course, speak to their, community leaders, CARPs, etc., in order to then decide how they want to proceed forward with this.
Well, interesting. Thank you both of you for joining us. What's also interesting, viewers, in the middle of it is, why was Phogat missing? Because she's been one of the faces of the protest and she did not go to the sports minister's residence for this meeting. She did, though, tweet out a very cryptic tweet of sorts. But having said that, Bajrang, Punia and Phogat are related, so maybe it is Bajrang who's representing Vinesh as well. But having said that, all of speculations are out there. Trust us to get you the latest. Meanwhile, shifting focus to the other developing story. Now, once again, medieval times gone by, but Aurangzeb continues to make news. The Mughal ruler has become the latest political flashpoint in Maharashtra. Hindu groups up in arms against pro-Aurangzeb posts and posters being raised in rallies. Here's the full report.
Maharashtra's Kolhapur on the boil. Hindu groups go on the rampage, vandalize shops and damaging vehicles. The violent protests were brought under control after the police lathi charged the ground.
पुलिस ने जो जमाव था उस पर अश्रुधुओं के नलखंडे डाले थे, अश्रुधुओं के बौछारे भी डाले थे, साथ ही लाठी चार्ज भारी मात्रा में यहाँ पर होते हुए नजर आया था.
The Hindu outfits were protesting a WhatsApp status put by 3 Muslim teenagers on Tuesday in praise of the 17th century Mughal ruler Aurangzeb, who had fought many battles with Maratha icon Chhatrapati Shivaji. The WhatsApp status hailed Aurangzeb as the true king. Earlier, posters of Aurangzeb were raised during a procession on Sunday in Ahmednagar. The police booked 4 people, including the city unit chief of Asaduddin Owaisi's party, AIMIM, who organized the rally for allegedly inciting violence. The Maharashtra government has made it clear no forgiveness would be granted to anyone invoking the name of Aurangzeb.
मैं खुद पर्सनली अधिकारियों के साथ संपर्क में हूँ और कानून व्यवस्था बनाए रखने के लिए सभी लोगों ने सहयोग करने की आवश्यकता है, ऐसा आह्वान भी मैं करता हूँ. और राज्य में सभी लोग शांति से रहे, या राज्य में शांति रहे, अमन रहे, इसके लिए सभी लोगों ने सहयोग करने की आवश्यकता है.
महाराष्ट्र में अचानक कुछ जिलों में औरंगजेब की औलादे पैदा हुई है, जो औरंगजेब का फोटो दिखाते हैं, औरंगजेब का स्टेटस रखते हैं, और इसके कारण एक दुर्भावना समाज में पैदा हो रही है. कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे.
The opposition NCP has accused the Eknath Shinde government of failing to ensure law and order in the state.
होम मिनिस्ट्री के पास एक इंटेलिजेंस का रिपोर्ट आता है, तो इनका इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट इनको नहीं बताता क्या होने वाला है. इतने दंगे जब से इनकी सरकार आई है, दंगे ही हुए. इसके पहले इतने दंगे कभी नहीं हुए इस राज्य में. तो ऑब्वियसली ये फेलियर ऑफ होम मिनिस्ट्री है ना.
Aurangzeb, who expanded the Mughal territory nearly to the entirety of the Indian subcontinent, has become the latest political flashpoint in Maharashtra politics. The Mughal emperor, seen as a divisive figure, is accused of targeting Hindus during his rule. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's cut across right now to my colleague Pankaj Khelkar en route to Kolhapur, joining us live with the latest. Pankaj, what's the update, especially where the law and order situation is concerned?
See, as of now, the life has returned back to normalcy. I am outskirts of Kolhapur city. A peace meeting is going on in Kolhapur city. The Guardian Minister Deepak Kesarkar is here. Along with him, other elected representatives are also in this peace meeting, wherein they are appealed to the public that nothing should happen. Whatever has happened during the morning hours, during the afternoon hours, such things shouldn't be repeated. The person, the minor boy who was responsible for this social viral thing concerning Aurangzeb has been detained. So whatever has happened was during the noon hours, after which police swung into action, tear gas was used, lathi charge was also used, and 20 to 25 youth have been rounded off who seem to be responsible for such an act. Other than that, all of the CCTV footage are being screened to, in a way, track those who are responsible for this misconduct, for this rioting incident.
All right, Pankaj, appreciate you joining us. We're going to continue to come back to you for more updates on that story. Meanwhile, let's quickly cut across to the latest news break that is just filtering in, and it's a big political development coming in where the 2024 alliance talks are concerned. The meeting was to happen, if you remember, viewers, on the 11th or the 12th of this month in Patna. However, then it was postponed to the 23rd of June. The latest coming in now that Rahul Gandhi will also now attend this mega opposition meeting in Bihar to take place on the 23rd of June. Opposition leaders' meet was postponed to 23rd. In attendance would be, of course, Mamata Banerjee, Uddhav Thakur, Mr. Sharad Pawar, Arvind Kejriwal, Hemant Soren, and other opposition leaders. Even word coming in that KCR of the BRS might also be attending this particular meeting. Development coming in midst of all of this, the emissary of opposition unity is Nitish Kumar and his deputy Tejashwi Yadav. Both of them have been hopping from state to state run by opposition parties to try and get everybody on board and make together a coalition running into 2024, an election which is less than a year away now. I want to connect to my colleague Rohit Singh, who's joining us, giving us this confirmation. Rohit, take us through the latest news break. It seems earlier on, Rahul Gandhi, who's touring the United States of America, is going to be back, but had not confirmed whether he's attending. It seems Rahul Gandhi also in attendance. Which political parties have confirmed till now, Rohit?
Well, Preeti, this meeting was previously scheduled for June 12th, the big opposition meeting, but because Rahul Gandhi was not present in the country at that time, and also Mallikarjun Kharge was also not attending this meet, that is why the entire meeting had to be postponed till June 23rd, and now it has been confirmed that the new date for this big opposition meeting is June 23rd, and Lalan Singh, the JDU national president, has confirmed that Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge will be attending this meeting along with Mamata Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, Akhilesh Yadav, Sharad Pawar of the NCP,
Right.
Uddhav Thakur. So all the big leaders will be attending this meeting where the opposition will be trying to formulate a strategy ahead of the 2024 elections.
All right, Rohit, appreciate you joining us with that quick news break. You know, the move towards opposition unity has already started. There are some who are doing it on their own, and the others, of course, all coming together on the 23rd of June, including Rahul Gandhi. But the latest on one leader trying to get all of opposition on board when it comes down to the ordinance passed against his government in Delhi is Arvind Kejriwal, on a mission to unite opposition behind him in the ordinance fight right ahead of the monsoon session of Parliament. Arvind Kejriwal met Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav in Lucknow today in a joint briefing. Kejriwal said that ordinance has snatched the power from the Delhi government. Akhilesh also backed Kejriwal. Listen in.
अखिलेश यादव जी का तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूं। हम लोगों को मिलने का समय दिया। अभी उनके साथ काफी लंबी बातचीत हुई बातचीत का विषय आप लोग जानते ही हैं। मोदी सरकार ने एक नोटिफिकेशन जारी करके हमारी सारी शक्तियां छीन ली।
लोकसभा का चुनाव विपक्षी एकता की बात हो रही, कल अरविंद केजरीवाल जी आपसे मिलने आ रहे हैं, पंजाब के सीएम भी आ रहे हैं, इस पर आप क्या कहें?
तो अभी ये पता नहीं है कि किन बिंदुओं पर चर्चा होगी। 12 तारीख का कार्यक्रम स्थगित हुआ है। जब कभी 12 के बाद कार्यक्रम होगा मैं जाऊंगा बिहार, और इस कार्यक्रम में क्या रूपरेखा होगी या क्या बातचीत होगी ये कह पाना मुश्किल है। लेकिन जो दिखाई दे रहा है, दिल्ली की सरकार अधिकारों को छीन रही है। अगर किसी चुनी हुई सरकार के अधिकार छीने जाएंगे तो उस पे तो विपक्ष को एक होना पड़ेगा।
All right, with that, a quick break. Stay with us. On the other side, our fact check segment.
Where the software engineer meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the gifted content writer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
How has it been for small caps? Because a lot of small cap portfolios over the last 1 year have not done very well. Things have started improving now, but what's been your experience over the last year or two with small caps?
Udin, thank you very much for having me, first of all. I am very happy with these small and mid caps where I am investing. And what my experience says that index is still yet to touch a new high, or may have touched briefly, I don't know, I'm not tracking it. But the small and mid caps have risen 4 times and 5 times in last 2 years. So my experience has been very good. So I'm happy.
But tell me, small cap investing is never easy. I mean, some of these names that you mentioned, like Repro and Vaibhav, they don't give you rewards in the time frame often that you have in mind. You have to be very patient. How do you approach some of these names which do not actually start giving you returns in a 2-3 year time frame? Do you stay the course and wait for the story to play out, or do you cut some of them out of your portfolio? I mean, what is the balancing act between, for some of these names which are not quite multi-baggers soon after you buy them?
You see, Vaibhav did reward me maybe 1 year after I bought. And Repro had also rewarded me. But finally, but due to COVID and all, their disruption got disrupted. So the stock price fell down. So that is okay, because as long as I said, that stay in the sunset industry, sunrise industry at any cost. Cost could be high and cost could be low. Stock may perform, stock may not perform. But as long as the story intact, as long as you believe that the sun is still rising, so it's okay. Sometimes sun is in the clouds, sometimes it is in the open. So this is stock market. You are never 100% right. Even if 50-60% is your, if you are right in this market, then this is enough for you.
What in your book is a sunset industry, Vijay? Let me ask you that. I mean, what kind of sectors or stocks do you stay out of? Because these days, all kinds of stocks have done well. Coal India, for example, which in many investors' eyes would qualify as a sunset industry, coal, or NTPC, or even tobacco like ITC, they have done well. What are the sectors that you stay away from?
You see, I have never bought all these companies like Coal India and like REC and ITC. Of course, that was a bad choice, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. So so far, sunset industry is concerned. I will give you one example that I had bought this IT industry in 2019. After COVID in 2020 and 21, 2 companies I had bought. So one was Intellect Design, another was NIIT. And I held on to them. They became multi-bagger also in 2 years' time. But after that, 1 year back, or maybe 1.5 years back, I exited because I realized that maybe now the flavor in this theme is over. So that could be a sunset industry to me, only for these 2 shares. But there is exception to the rules also. Like Persistent is at all-time high, and Coforge or some others, not Coforge, some Scient and all these. There are 2-3 shares in the same sector which are at all-time high. So it depends that. So what I will say that if I find that the story in my company is over or plateaued or stagnant, maybe for a long time, maybe for 2-3 years, then I would like to exit. This is what I mean by sunset. Yeah.
Welcome back. You're watching our fact check segment where we bust fake news. There's a claim floating about suggesting Cuttack Hospital renovated before the Prime Minister's visit. The fact check on that, these pictures are of Morbi Hospital renovation from 2022. Incorrect news. With that, a quick break. Stay with us. On the other side, to the point.
Big boost to India's vision of emerging as a manufacturing powerhouse. Taiwanese giant Foxconn will start manufacturing iPhones in Bengaluru by 2024. While Foxconn's expansion is undoubtedly advantage to India, an embarrassing fight for credit has erupted in Karnataka. The Siddaramaiah government is trumpeting Foxconn investment, calling it a huge boost for Karnataka.
BJP is not aware of the origins of manufacturing of iPhones in India. Probably they should look into their own government orders, and they should then they will realize that the seeds of it was sown when I was the IT-BT minister, when Wistron came and started their first manufacturing plant here in Karnataka. Either ways, if they really want to take credit, they can. Ultimately, Karnataka has win.
See, this is like when the Mars orbiter was put in space. The Prime Minister was not even the Prime Minister for a few days, and we saw how he took credit for the when he himself, instead of giving the credit to the scientists, he himself went to Sri Harikota. So, government is always in continuum. We have to do good work. That is what is important.
The Karnataka BJP and its leaders has hit back, claiming it was Basavaraj Bommai's win.
What they have not done, how can they claim credit? It's all been done by our government, and that time they were making a mockery, they were making all kind of statements, and they criticized us. So that is what is indicating now itself. In future, next 5 years, we are not going to do anything. Now we will try to gain credit for what has been done by the previous government.
On March 3rd, then Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai had met the Foxconn chairman. He too announced that an agreement had been signed with the iPhone maker.
They had shown interest. They had been visiting so many times. Then ultimately they saw the land, their chairman came, saw the land. And then they wanted some policy change we brought in. They saw our policies, they accepted.
Powered by Voltas Pure Air 6-stage adjustable AC. Co-powered by American Tourister, born to cross boundaries. Co-powered by The world comes together at Sharda University. Blue Star fast cooling AC.
Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Has there been a breakthrough when it comes down to the wrestlers versus government standoff? What we can report and confirm, at least viewers, as of now, there's been the first engagement in terms of the protest of Wrestlers 2.0, not the first time around. And in this engagement, there has been a temporary truce. The sports minister and wrestlers held a meet for nearly 6 hours. The wrestlers put forth 5 demands. We're going to take you through that one by one. They've also given a deadline of 15th of June. They say till 15th of June, the protest is on hold, a temporary truce. All of this as the government has assured the probe and the filing of charge sheet till the 15th of June. The athletes are adamant on the arrest of WFI chief and BJP MP Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who has been accused of sexual harassment. The FIR against the athlete has also been withdrawn, is what they have demanded. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said that talks between both sides were successful and that women wrestlers will be given security according to their needs. Notably, a missing face from the talks today was Phogat. The wrestler in a cryptic tweet said that some aim only at the final destination. All right, so what really comes off it? I want to cut across to wrestling legend who trained the Phogat sisters. Mahavir Singh Phogat joins us right now. We recorded with him a short while ago. He's a senior Olympic coach, trainer, father of the Phogat sisters. महावीर जी, मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे यही है, मीटिंग हुई है 6 घंटे की, आपकी बात हो पाई है लड़कियों से, अगला एक्शन क्या रहेगा?
जो जनवरी में जो जंतर मंतर पर जो रेसलर ने धरना दिया था, उस टाइम भी जो है जो खेल मंत्री के पास मीटिंग हुई थी और उन्हें पूरा आश्वासन दिया था और कमेटी भी गठित हुई और आज तक उस कमेटी का कोई भी फैसला नहीं आया है। जो आज जो मीटिंग है पहलवानों की, जो खेल मंत्री गए, तो हम तो भारत सरकार से उम्मीद करते हैं कि जल्दी इस मामले को निपटाए।
आप भारत सरकार से उम्मीद करते हैं जल्दी से इस मामले को सुलझाया जाए। अनुराग ठाकुर जी ने बयान दिया है कि जो बातचीत हुई सकारात्मक हुई, बहुत पॉजिटिव हुई है जो बातचीत हुई है। आप खुद, मुझे पता है, एक धरने पे बैठे हैं जो किसान का एक पंचायत है, उसमें रेसलर्स की बातें भी डिस्कस हो रही हैं। अब राकेश टिकैत भी थे उसी किसान पंचायत में। कुछ डिसीजन उनकी तरफ से आया है, क्योंकि रेसलर्स ने एक चीज साफ बोली है, आपको भी पता होगा महावीर जी, कि वो जो खाब चौधरियों हैं, आप लोग हैं, उनसे बातचीत होगी। तो आप लोगों का क्या नजरिया रहेगा?
देखिए, इस चीज का तो मुझे पता नहीं है। राकेश टिकैत का जो पहले 5 तारीख थी, अब उसके बाद में 9 तारीख दी थी, तो मैं तो आप लोगों को यही है भाई 9 तारीख तक ही अल्टीमेट है। अगर समझौता होता है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो यहाँ जो आगे आंदोलन, जो किसान आंदोलन था, उसका उसी पर चल रहा है।
अब वो 15 तक तारीख हो गई है। जो रेसलर्स जब छुटे हैं, उन्होंने ये बोला है, मीटिंग के बाद से जब निकले हैं, उन्होंने साफ बोला है कि 15 तारीख तक कोई धरना प्रदर्शन नहीं होगा। आपको लगता है समझौता हो सकता है महावीर जी?
देखिए, ये तो जो सरकार है, अगर सरकार चाहेगी तो समझौता हो जाएगा, अगर नहीं चाहेगी तो समझौता कैसे होगा? सिर्फ मैंने बच्चों का मुद्दा है, ब्रिज भूषण को गिरफ्तार करो और उसके ऊपर जो धाराएं हैं उसकी निष्पक्ष जांच हो।
इस बीच में महावीर फोगाट जी, जो माइनर लड़की है जिसके बयान के तहत पॉक्सो का केस हुआ है ब्रिज भूषण के ऊपर, अब सुनने में आ रहा है कि इस बच्ची ने अपना स्टेटमेंट रिट्रैक्ट कर दिया है। आपको लगता है कि इससे केस वीक होगा?
देखिए, जो लड़की जो नाबालिग थी, मैंने भी आपके टीवी के माध्यम से सुनी थी, लेकिन उसके बाप के बयान भी मैंने 2 दिन बाद में, अभी हमें कोई झूठे बयान है, हमें कोई केस नहीं उठाया है। अगर देखो केस उठता है इसके मामले में तो फर्क तो पड़ेगा, लेकिन 7-8 लड़कियां और हैं।
इस बीच में जो बबीता है आपकी लड़की, वो पीछे हट गई हैं। बीजेपी से चुनाव लड़ा है उन्होंने। गीता भी कोई भी प्रोटेस्ट में नहीं आ रही है, सिर्फ विनेश और साक्षी सामने दिख रही हैं। क्यों लगता है कि आपको बबीता पीछे हट गई है?
देखिए, वो जो बबीता थी जो पहले थी, और उसका इसने कोशिश अब की बार भी की है, उसने जो इनका समझौता हो जाए, लेकिन ये अब बात दोनों ये बात नहीं करती है और न वो मिलती, ये 2 जन।
क्या बबीता बीजेपी से चुनाव लड़ चुकी हैं, इसीलिए हट गई हैं पीछे, अपनी बहनों के साथ नहीं खड़ी हो रही हैं?
देखिए, जो उसके साथ दिया था बबीता ने, जो इनको पहले भी, लेकिन अब वो भी मजबूर है, वो जो क्यों नहीं तो वो बबीता की बात मानते हैं बच्चे, न कोई, वो सिर्फ एक ही जिद है, ब्रिज भूषण को अंदर करो और जो संगीन धाराएं और उनको जो केस निष्पक्ष जांच होनी चाहिए।
पर महावीर फोगाट जी, आप बोल रहे हैं बबीता मजबूर है, क्या मजबूरी है बबीता को?
देखिए, वो तो वो जाने उसके जो लड़की आप जो शादी कर दे, तो उसके जो परिवार आगे जो उसका अगला परिवारजन कैसे चलाते हैं उसको।
तो जहां शादी कर रखी है उसका परिवार जानता है। चलिए, बहुत शुक्रिया महावीर फोगाट जी के आप हमसे जुड़े। That's Mahavir Phogat. He's the father of Babita and Geeta Phogat. Both of them have pulled out of the protest in terms of not seeing standing behind their sisters, technically, when it comes down to the wrestling protest. With that, I want to cut across to Nikhil Naza, consulting editor, Sports India Today TV. He joins us from London. Nikhil, I know a lot is going on in terms of London where cricket is concerned. I just want to pull you back into the dangal which is taking place in the national capital. All the wrestlers today met the sports minister. Have you got an indication from them? They've put forth 5 demands. One of their sticking demands is the arrest of Brij Bhushan Sharan. If, let's say, the other 4 demands are met, and we're going to put out all their demands in graphics as you take us through them, the 5th demand, if the arrest doesn't happen, do you see the wrestlers still accepting what the sports minister or the government says?
Well, to answer your last bit of question, Preeti, no. I think the wrestlers are very adamant, and I think this would be at number 1 as far as those 5 demands that you're talking about. This would be at number 1 for them. They would want that Brij Bhushan be arrested. Having said that, I believe when I spoke to a few people close to the wrestlers that are protesting, is the fact that they've asked the sports ministry to ensure that the Delhi police inquiry or the investigation is completed by the 30th, if I'm not mistaken. So by the 15th, I beg your pardon, as far as the Delhi police investigation is concerned, and they've been assured that yes, at least the investigation would be completed by then. I think all of this is still, I see a bit of positive here, Preeti, because there was a deadlock, as you know, between the government and the protesting wrestlers. At one point, it seemed like that the wrestlers weren't even ready to engage in any sort of dialogue with the ministry. And I'd heard from close sources within the ministry, and they were also not happy with the way the wrestlers were protesting. And they said that, listen, when we put a few bodies in place, then why is it that the wrestlers have to take the matters into their own hands? So both parties were agreed, both parties weren't happening with way things were going, and you felt like that there would be no resolution in sight because there was going to be no dialogue. So I think to start with, it's a good beginning that there has been a bit of a dialogue right now. And I think all of that has been initiated from the meeting that the wrestlers had with the Home Minister Amit Shah. I know the wrestlers weren't happy at the time because they had certain demands, and they had said that there should be an immediate arrest of Brij Bhushan Sharan, at which point they were reminded that the investigation needs to be carried on, and if the police then deem it fit, only then can he be arrested and not otherwise. So that is something that was brought to the notice of the wrestlers. Now that they've had the meeting with the sports minister, some of those demands is, one, as you said, the arrest of Brij Bhushan. I don't think they have been guaranteed that, but I think what the sports ministry is happy at the moment is, or at least assured them, that the investigation would be complete. That is one. The other thing that they've assured them, with which the wrestlers are happy, that you will have free and fair elections by the 30th of June. So that's something that they are also looking forward to. Remember, there has been a 3-member committee that has been set up to ensure the free and fair elections are conducted. However, I believe there's another demand that the wrestlers have put, that ensure that nobody from Brij Bhushan Sharan or his family be able to contest those elections. And that may not be possible because the government in no way can intervene in those elections. As soon as the government has any sort of interference, that amounts to outside interference, and then the Wrestling Federation can even be banned by the world body. So the elections have to take place. And you cannot have a condition that no relative of Brij Bhushan can participate in the election. I believe his son is the president of the Uttar Pradesh Wrestling Federation. He'd be eligible to contest. Whether he wins or not, that will be a democratic process, and that we'll get to know as and when the elections happen.
All right, Nikhil, appreciate you joining us. Have a good one there following cricket, while we keep ourselves focused on all the developments that come in from the big dangal, which clearly seeming to enter its final bout. There is clearly a temporary truce. How was it brought about? Is there a perception that was set in terms of sympathy where our wrestlers are concerned? I'm going to take you through some numbers which seem to suggest, yes, there was a perception, especially where the regular people are concerned, that the wrestlers have been dealt an unfair hand. Why do I say that? Let's take you now through some seawater data, which seems to clearly suggest that public sympathy lied at least or lay with the wrestlers. Let's take you through that now. There you have it. This is a lot of numbers in terms of C voter has collated a lot of these numbers. We're going to put it right out. Who is speaking the truth in terms of the C voter data where it collated? It seems that most people believe that wrestlers, 75% believe that wrestlers are speaking the truth. Brij Bhushan, 12%. But of course, this is a vote which goes to the opposition. Now, those who have traditionally voted for the NDA, and that is where, lies the catch. Because here, viewers, if 54% of the NDA vote bank, which traditionally should support the government, says no, they believe the wrestlers and not a BJP MP, Brij Bhushan. So this figure would clearly be worrying for the government. Total, a whopping 67% actually believe that the wrestlers are speaking the truth and not the man on your television screen. Let's bring in Rahul Srivastava, our National Affairs editor, while we take you now to our next graphic. Okay, Rahul Srivastava is with us. Rahul, we're number crunching, going through some of the sea water data. The sheer fact that the government today, through a tweet by the sports minister, invited the wrestlers to talk, a lot of it also has to, come from the narrative which is being built where the people are concerned. If we look at these numbers, it's very clear. NDA supporters also feel that the wrestlers are the ones who are telling the truth and not a BJP MP.
Pretty political parties usually deal with in a different manner vis-a-vis perception is concerned. It is their own sense of perception in which they weigh their pros and cons vis-a-vis an action, because there is no guarantee that NDA voters today who are with the wrestlers today, 54% or whatever that number is, in 2024 will not be voting as Thakurs and Jats and Brahmins and others. So there is no direct inference like that. But yes, definitely this case, one can see that the government seemed to have relented. Relented in terms, there is a certain softening of the stand that bluster is not there. Since January, if you see, there have been two incidents. This is the second incident where there were charges against the government or a member of the government. The first one was Adani, in which the government said, bring the opposition, take the legal course. In this, initially, it seems to be the line that the government was saying, was backing Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, was not ready to back down. But one very interesting thing has happened, that if you see, first there was a hush-hush meeting with Amit Shah. And in that meeting, the contours are not very clear what was the compromise. But eventually, the wrestlers returned back to work. That was the first sign of softening. And after that hush-hush meeting, today there was a meeting at visible public glare with media present. Anurag, Thakur, the Minister of Sports, putting out a post yesterday that he wants to invite the rest of our meet. Means the government has seized that little bit of window of opportunity which was created in that meeting between Mr. Amit Shah and the wrestlers, and is expanding that window of opportunity. Now, what is happening? That if you see what Nikhil briefed in terms of the demands, and June 15, the probe will be over, 30th, the WFI elections will be over. If the probe does indicate Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh may be arrested, all these are promises. There are 5 demands now, whereas when initially the agitation started, there was one demand: justice. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should resign. So we can see that there is softening of stand happening on both the sides. Now, eventually, from the huge cry for justice, it is now a demand for law, and the government is saying a legal course will be followed. And I think the government is succeeding, not very much, but definitely seems to be succeeding in getting it. They're at least off the streets. Bajrang, Punia very clearly saying that till 15, we are not likely to stage demonstrations. I think
Rahul, stay on with me. Would you just stay on with me? We're going to, get you right back. We're going to throw out some other numbers there where the C voter data is concerned. And what has been the opinion of the people in terms of the data collated, the wrestlers vis-a-vis Brij Bhushan Sharan? No, actually not that. Next is, are the people satisfied with the Delhi police action? Now, the Delhi police yet to file any charge sheet, yet to arrest Brij Bhushan Sharan, who's been slapped with an FIR under Pocso. Well, if you look at it, completely satisfied. The opposition vote is only 12%. But like I said, it's not really the opposition vote that you might want to look at. Look at the NDA vote. 23% actually feel, only 23%, that they are completely satisfied. somewhat satisfied, 11% opposition vote, NDA support base 17%, total 13%. But what I really want you to look at, viewers, is the one right at the bottom, completely dissatisfied. 47% of the opposition vote says that they are completely dissatisfied how the Delhi police has handled the case, while 30% of the NDA vote, traditionally an NDA voter says, or a BJP voter says, that they're dissatisfied on how the Delhi police has handled the case. Overall, 40% people actually feel that they are thoroughly dissatisfied. 19% feel they're somewhat dissatisfied. On being questioned on the role, that should the Prime Minister actually intervene? Let's take you through that data. Well, opposition says, should the Prime Minister intervene? Where the opposition vote is concerned, traditionally voting for opposition, 76% says yes. Only 15% says no in the opposition vote. NDA vote, traditional BJP voters, 58% says yes, that the Prime Minister needs to intervene, and 25% say no, the Prime Minister should not intervene. Total 68% feels that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi needs to step in and sort out the dangal, or be the umpire in this dangal, which is only getting murkier and dirtier. Coming across back to Rahul Srivastav, who is with us, getting us the latest in terms of break down the numbers. Rahul, is there a sense where the BJP is concerned and the advisors to the incumbent government that they've possibly mishandled this wrestlers protest? Because we've seen what went down in wrestler protest, the first one in January, you had Anurag Thakur at that point of time, and now the second time around, there seems to be a sense that maybe the government did mishandle the entire crisis.
Preeti, purely from the BJP and the government perspective, I will say that this was deliberate. It was orchestrated in that manner, primarily one. Sacking Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh instantly would have been an admission of guilt, and I think the blame would have not have gone to the door of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The opposition would have done that. The government has averted that. The survey says that people are unhappy with the government handling other, but Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is a face in the Devi Batan area of Uttar Pradesh, which is a sizable number of seats. 7.5% Thakurs in Uttar Pradesh. That's a big concern for the BJP. Interestingly, it has not become a Haryana versus the rest battle. It has become a slightly Jat versus the rest battle. Not negative for the BJP and Haryana, primarily because since 2014, the BJP has created that political fissure in which it is Jat versus the rest by installing somebody like Mr. Khattar as a chief minister to break the monopoly of the Jats. And in Haryana, 25% population may be Jats, 35 seats they may be controlling, but there are too many claimants, Bhupen Singh Hooda, Chautala's sons and others, and that's where the Jat vote gets divided. So in fact, if it is a Jat versus the rest, it works better for the BJP. So I will say that, yes, there was a bit of a bluster, but eventually I think the government deliberately slowed down the whole process, got them to come and meet Amit Shah, then now an open meeting with Anurag Thakur, the sports minister, and a roadmap for a compromise, a negotiated compromise. I think usually governments have very deep pockets of tricks.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Rahul, with your opinion there. Interesting. What we're going to do is keep the spotlight and get our viewers the latest as it unfolds. A quick break to stay with us. Up next is Rahul Kanwar.
Maharaja, Indigo is still the undisputed king of Indian skies. And the airline with the ubiquitous blue livery is ensuring its holds onto its crown. Indigo is reportedly spooling its engines to launch a 500 aircraft order. It would make it the biggest order till date from India, larger than the 470 aircraft ordered by Air India earlier this year. Indigo Indigo is eyeing 500 single-aisle Airbus A320 family aircraft with a sticker price of more than $50 billion. The final price, according to analysts, could be nearly half if discounts for bulk deals are included. Indigo is also planning on buying 25 wide-body aircraft, for which Airbus and Boeing are still in contention with their A330 Neo and 787 models. Indigo is already one of the largest Airbus customers, operating 308 Airbus-made aircraft. Nearly 500 aircraft are still to be delivered. There are fears that the two huge aircraft orders by Indigo and Air India could skew the demand-supply dynamics in the Indian markets. Indian carriers now have the second largest order book for aircraft, behind only the United States. The past few months have seen air traffic rise to zoom past pre-COVID levels as travellers return with a vengeance. Indigo had a market share of nearly 58% in April, with Vistara and Air India at a distant second and third positions. Go First, which went under last month, also had a decent 6% market share. With the Wadia Group-owned Go First grounded, Indian skies are running short of aircraft, pushing up airfares into stratosphere. There could be some relief for flyers in the future with these additions to aircraft fleet, both on domestic and international routes. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
This Nepali Sherpa guide is carrying a Malaysian climber on his back down from a part of Mount Everest called the Death Zone. Gelji Sherpa says he saved the man's life. He was guiding a client to the summit in mid-May. That's when he saw the Malaysian climber clinging to a rope and shivering in the extreme cold. The Death Zone is a part of the mountain where temperatures can drop below -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Rescues are almost impossible there, authorities say. Gelji convinced his client to give up the summit attempt and began his rare high-altitude rescue.
It took me 5 to 6 hours to get from 8,500 meters above sea level to 7,900. It was very difficult. In places where it was rockier, we could not drag him. We had to carry him on our backs with difficulty.
He eventually got help from another guide, and a helicopter then carried the climber down to base camp.
It was important for us to rescue him, even from the summit. Money can be earned any time. Left like that, he could have died. We have saved his life by quitting the summit.
The climber was put on a flight to Malaysia last week. The dramatic rescue comes as Nepal issued a record 478 permits for Everest during this year's climbing season. At least 12 climbers have died, and another 5 are still missing on Everest slopes.
The king of jungle, or should we say the prince, now in the care of Savitri at the Bannerghata National Park. Savitri Amma, as she is popularly known, is mother to orphaned cubs that are brought up here from all parts of Karnataka. Lion, leopard, tiger. She has been looking after them for the last 22 years. It's a bond she cherishes. She has sleepless nights when a cub falls sick.
ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂತವೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಸಪ್ಪಗೆ ಮಲಗಿರ್ತವೆ ಹಾಲು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಪ್ಪಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಯ್ತದೆ ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಾರ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತೇನಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ 2 ದಿವಸ ಊಟ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಹಾಲು ಅಂದರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಡ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಡ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಮೇಲೆ 3 ದಿವಸ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸರೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ನಾವು ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಥರ ಹಾಲು ಉಡ್ಬಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾಲು ಕುಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ.
Savitri Amma, who communicates effortlessly with the cubs, is a woman of few words. Her world is all about her wild friends. Currently, 9 leopard cubs and 1 lion cub are under her watch.
ಇದು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಮಗು ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾಲೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಅವಾಗವಾಗ ಕುಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು 3 ತಿಂಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ 3 ಟೈಮ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು 6 ತಿಂಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚಿಕನ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೂಢಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಲು ಚಿಕನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
The veterinary doctors at the facility say tending to cubs is no easy task.
Only thing, they come early 1 month, 15 days, 1 month cubs or they come also. Different area. Early very difficult to handle also. After 3 months, 4 months, they will recognize also. They will obey also. Wild animal, no? Anything they will mind change also. You want to take whatever the precautions you should we take also. And all touching also prohibited, only thing,
When the cubs grow up, they will be released in safari zone or kept in the zoo. Some of the cubs will remember her for a long time, like this one. With Anagha Keshav, Bureau Report, India Today.
Forecast now. Delhi, maximum 41 and minimum 27 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 31 and minimum 29 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 43 and minimum 29 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 33 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 28 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 39 and minimum 29 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode. Armed with facts, she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories. From every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Co-presented by Hefler. Let's reimagine.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the news track. I'm Rahul Kamal. After the defeat in the Karnataka Assembly elections, the BJP is rethinking its strategy for the Lok Sabha elections in the southern states. Talks are currently on with the Janata Dal Secular in Karnataka, with the Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana. Will this alliance building strategy help the BJP gain ground in southern India in the big election of 2024? That's my top focus on the news track.
BJP launches Mission South ahead of 2024. Will there be BJP-JDS alliance in Karnataka? Will Naidu back the BJP? Southern alliance to help Modi's third term? Will alliances change poll equations? Big focus on Newstrack.
Here's a look at the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Wrestler